I love this gospel. I love that it's appropriate that I have the opportunity to preach this gospel at Mass because how timely it is, hearing the story about the vineyard. About 20 of us this past week were able to visit some of the best vineyards in the country out on pilgrimage in California. I won't tell you what my most favorite part of the trip is because I don't want to scandalize you. It's appropriate also at this time of year in the fall when we hear this story because all the vineyards are in their process of harvesting their grapes. Everyone is out picking grapes as we speak, used to make wine. So after the grapes are picked, they go through this long process of destemming, of crushing, of pressing, of filtering, and aging before they make it to the bottle. But it's that first step, the picking of the bunches of grapes, which is most important. And it's not something that a machine can do easily. Because it's not like in our fields of corn and soybeans, you can send a big machine through to take out the vegetables and to harvest. No, on the hillsides of California, you have hills that machines can't easily get through. You don't want to crush the grapes with machines. And so the best wineries, what they do is they have the old-fashioned way. Workers go and pick the grapes, which means you need as many workers as possible to get the job done. And so this helps to explain our gospel today. The landowner goes out to recruit workers for his vineyard at 6 a.m., at 9 a.m., at noon, at 3 p.m., and even at 5 p.m. He keeps recruiting more hands all day long. He wants to get everyone on board to make sure that everyone has a place in the vineyard. That's the mission of the landowner. I don't think our mission as a parish is much different from that. You know what our mission is as a parish? Slapped on every type of publication that we have. Holy Family Parish exists to be a family of God and to form disciples who serve. The short way of saying that is be a family, be disciples. Can everyone say that with me? Be a family, be disciples. What does a family do? If you're a non-dysfunctional family, a family sticks together. You know one another. You talk to one another. Everyone is on board with the same purpose. And what's most important in a family, you belong. Everyone should be able to walk into these doors and feel that I belong here in this community. I've spoken a lot in the past about our younger generation, the generation that is so often and easily misunderstood. This generation may not be heavily involved in parish life. They may not all be at Sunday Mass, but they're not atheists. They're not indifferent to the questions of faith. They're heavily interested in questions of faith. They're incredibly curious about God and about what we as Christians believe. And young people were asked recently the question, what makes you belong to a group? And it boiled down to three things. I am noticed, I am named, and I am known. I'm noticed, I'm named, I'm known. Last year, the Springtide Research Institute took a poll of young Catholics aged 13 to 25 in the U.S., and it found that 87% of young Catholics say that they are religious. 87% say they are religious, but less than 25% say that they find it helpful to connect with their parish community. Wait a minute, that is a pretty big disconnect. How can it be that so many young Catholics feel that they are religious, but yet so few find it helpful to be at Mass or part of their faith community? Let me suggest that maybe one answer to this can be found in today's gospel. The landowner goes out late in the day at 5 p.m., still finds people standing around. Why do you stand here idly all day, he asks. Because no one has hired us. No one has noticed us. No one has cared about us. Jesus wants to hire this generation of young Catholics, so often standing idly in the marketplace, searching for meaning and purpose in the midst of a ruthless, toxic social media culture. a golden opportunity for us to help them be formed as disciples of the Lord. But imagine if you're a teenager walking through these doors and you are not seen, you're not welcomed, you're not valued. What are you going to do? You're going to walk right out and go someplace else where you do feel seen and welcomed and valued. That's why this has to be a place where everyone is noticed and named and known. We could have the most engaging music. We could have the most thought-provoking homilies from here. We could have the most sophisticated parish programs with everything at our fingertips to grow in our faith. But until we have a culture where everyone is noticed and named and known, then none of those other things are going to be effective for us. That's why we greeted one another before Mass today. That's why you learned someone else's name. That's why you have as your business to pray for someone else's business today as we're celebrating Mass. Because all of us here, not just young people, not just people who are searching for a place to worship, but all of us need to feel named and noticed and known. For my part, I try to be as accessible as I can to our young people here. I try to be out front as parents are dropping off their students for faith formation. I try to visit the classrooms, try to make sure that I'm outside after Mass greeting. To break down this barrier that's so often between the priests in the church up here and everyone else down here. We need to break that down. But I can't do that by myself. I can't make everyone feel welcomed and a part of this community. But you who are in these pews, you can. All it takes is to say hi to someone you don't know. How's your day going? How can I pray for you today? How powerful that question is. Then maybe this younger generation of Catholics will feel more welcome being a part of this parish because now they found people who notice them, who name them, and who know them. All of us are workers in the Lord's vineyard. We're all out there picking grapes, making sure the harvest is ripe and ready to go. And the Lord will do the rest of the work of crushing the grapes, of fermenting them, and of bottling them to produce the best wine for us. But all of us are workers in the vineyard with a special mission, and that mission is to be together as a family. So let's be a family here who know one another and who pray for one another. Amen.